Let's get Ashlee on and talk to Ashlee. Ashlee, if you guys were at Copy Chief Live, came on stage on day 3 and taught us some great stuff about how to work with VAs. That was one of the biggest breakthroughs. Hi, Ashlee. Good to see you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I sure can.
Excellent.
A squared. Good to see you.
Got my branded picture.
I like it. Yeah. And it was great jamming with you at Copy Chief Live. And I was just about to tell everybody that one of the biggest breakthroughs, the high level freelancers I work with and coach in the super group, one thing they all did last year was hire a VA. And often it was you back when you were available to do such things. There were a lot of talk of Ashlee in our group meetings about, oh, Ashlee changed my life. I have Ashlee doing this now, and she created a process for this. And so catch me up on your business now. I know you had a baby and that shifted how you want to be spending your time, and tell me the evolution.
Yeah. So definitely started out kind of as an online business manager is what I called myself, helping people in the day-to-day, like getting in the trenches, solving what was hurting them, that whole nine. Really started focusing in on process design, really helping people build in that structure and that sort of thing. So had a really cool offer we were excited about for that for about 6 months. And then the newest iteration based on the results of that has been to do the Fix This Next program. So now I'm certified as a Fix This Next advisor, meaning I can now also really help people diagnose where to focus and then build the plan and the process in that area of greatest need in their business, and then build it out, make it happen, and then focus on the next thing.
That's fantastic. And let me tell you, I have relevant stuff for this because Fix This Next is the upcoming book by Mike Michalowicz. I believe it's his 4th or 5th book. I'm a huge Michalowicz fan. He is my favorite author right now. Oh boy, you got an advanced copy. Look at that.
I did.
Yeah. You were invited by Mike to review the book early on, and then invited to an early workshop about the content.
Yeah. So there are about 115 of us, I think, kind of first round inaugural certified advisors. So we kind of went through extra training, took a test, and now kind of have that ongoing connection with Mike's team, which has been amazing because I've been a Mike fan forever too.
Yeah. And just so to tell you, it's interesting because I kind of know exactly what you're up to. And this is Mike's formula. He writes an amazing book that literally radically shifts how an entrepreneur wants to do business. His mission is very simply, he wants to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. Talk about simplifying your bat signal or making it super clear. And so Profit First completely revolutionized how I handle my bookkeeping and my finances. I hired a Profit First team to implement those principles. Then I read Clockwork and knew I needed that for my team in my business. We are now going through that process with Adrienne Dorson and her team. And so now you are one of the major partners with Mike on this next book, which is going to create huge demand for your business. And so now will you shift everything you're doing to be a Fix This Next, does not roll off the tongue, Fix This Next.
It really does.
Sort of facilitator? Will that become your main business you anticipate, or?
So the way I think it'll work really well is everything that I was doing before can kind of loop into this. So originally I was doing the process and systems design intensive, really helping people set up their processes. And then was starting to think about maybe doing some project and time management coaching on the side, really helping people implement. Because one of the things I realized in working with, Angie and Chris and Brian and all those guys is that we were able to provide, this broad swath of support, but we were an expensive way to do some of the things that we were doing. And so we really wanted to focus in so we could keep the price low, help people bring in a VA to do some of those things less expensively. And so we were thinking about all of that, and this kind of locked it all into place because people can take the Fix This Next assessment, go through an intensive for whatever that identified as their biggest need, and then go into kind of ongoing support with us to get stuff done, clear obstacles, figure out how to manage their time better. All of that falls into that bucket. So it all kind of rolls together. So we're not doing something completely different. We're just kind of adding a piece to the beginning to bring it all together into one thing.
So it'll still be kind of your branded process, or will that go under sort of the brand of Fix This Next?
That's a good question. And I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to best do that, because I have to be careful that people know I'm not part of the Fix This Next organization, right? Right. I have to keep that distinction, but also I'm authorized to use the brand, to kind of use that name and all of that as part of it. And so that's where with the sales page, I was trying to walk that line of, we're not Fix This Next, but we use that methodology, and how do we tie those two together in the right way?
Yeah. And I can tell you from my experience with my bookkeeper, how it looks, and is that the reason that was my requirement for bringing on a new bookkeeper, was that they were familiar and embraced it and were ready to implement that with me.
Right.
And so that was how I found them. That was how I qualified them. But they have been so amazing beyond just the profit. I'll tell you, the big breakthroughs, the reason I fell in love with them as a company and as people, were the conversations we had while implementing Profit First, because it's so much about putting you first in your business and making sure that the person at the head of the business, who is often the last one to eat, as leaders are supposed to do, and that you end up starving to death, right? And so what they do is this company advocates for the business owner, and they say, let's make it all work, but it's got to be working for you, or you're going to burn out and this is all going to go away, right? And so they've been able to help me so far beyond just Profit First, but it is the foundation we sort of stand on.
Right. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do too, of this is a tool we can use, but really the goal is to kind of build the structure your business needs to grow and really expand your capacity when you hit that ceiling, right? I think a lot of people in the super group especially are like, okay, I'm working more than I want to, and I want to grow farther than this. So how do I do that? Right. So
100%.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let's, that's great. Let's get into your hot seat then, and tell me about this offer now. Who is it for? How are they finding it? And what action do you hope that they take after they read it?
So it's for kind of freelancers who've hit capacity, coaches, copywriters, online service providers, graphics designers, people like that who've kind of hit that ceiling, want more, and are trying to figure out how. Especially people who feel like they're trying to tackle a bunch of priorities at the same time. How they're finding it, ideally, is we'll have kind of an advertorial-based or quiz funnel-based Facebook ads going through a kind of a welcome sequence with us, and then towards the end of that coming to this, so we're not completely cold, but they'll be, new to us to some extent. And what was the third question? I missed the third question, I think.
How are they finding it? How are they coming to it? Are you running cold traffic to it?
Yes, that's the goal.
That's the goal ultimately, but no funnel like that in place yet. Okay, cool.
Not yet. We're working on a quiz funnel that's almost ready. Cool. So close. Yeah. Well,
when that's it, make sure you put that up for feedback with Allison.
That's a good idea.
She is become the quiz funnel queen. Okay, cool. So here it is, everybody. And let's get a panel now. And let me give you my immediate thoughts first. I like to just kind of do my best, because we've talked at length of this, and I have kind of peeked at your thread. Try to come at it a little bit cold, so I can just get first impressions. Where are we linked here? The actual ad.
Oh, it might not be in
this point.
Oh, yeah, that looks right.
All right, great. So I land here. Your free excerpt, Fix This Next. The first, of free. Okay, great. Interested to connect with us. There's the book. Hi, my name is Ashlee. I help people build processes and systems into their business, and I love what I do. But when I first started my business, I spent my time bouncing between a long list of projects that I thought were urgent. Yeah, all right, I remember this now. Yeah, you talk about, so Angie wisely directed you to sort of like put this in the frame of a 60-second sales hook.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's essentially what we're seeing here. And I remember last I saw a thread, it was quite good, but it was definitely an extended version, which is fine. Tell me, so catch me up. How has it evolved this week as this thread and this great coaching from Angie has gone back and forth?
Yeah. So based on her feedback, it kind of shifted the focus, because when I started, it was just a random hypothetical story. So she recommended telling my story, 60-second sales hook, really tightening things up and fixing the transition from the story to the sale, because it was really abrupt in my first iteration of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, right here, what you're looking at here, she was like, it's really like, oh, now you're selling something to me. And so trying to soften that transition has been kind of the focus of the newest version. And then also some feedback I received was that there wasn't a whole lot outcome related in the copy. And so trying to incorporate some of that to say, this is what you're going to walk away with. This is the outcome you'll see in your business.
Right.
So yeah, that's what's kind of changed.
Okay. And how did that make it to the page? Where is that now on here?
So if you scroll down, we have the story. And then I kind of switch here after the kind of, this is how I discovered Fix This Next. This is what it is, you know, all of that. And then where did this come from? And kind of just saying, now I've been invited to be an advisor. This is how I've adapted it to this group. I was able to add a video from Mike introducing the concepts of Fix This Next, then having the outcomes, then the program details, leading into pricing. And
got it. Okay, interesting. All right, cool. So here's what I'm seeing, and invite some others to come on, because I'm sure there's people chomping at the bit, because there's a lot of good stuff here. I think it's important to use a page for the one action you want from it, right? And when I come here, I thought this was simply an offer to get this book.
the excerpt. Okay.
And so that's what I would make this. Let this just be a way for people to trade you their email address for the excerpt of this book. We're looking for McAllowitz fans. You could target them on Facebook, I'm sure. And I now I think the one thing you need to achieve on here is make sure they connect you with this book. I'm a little concerned. I'm not by any means a master like landing page designer, but I would want above the fold to see your photo next to this book.
Oh,
do you have a picture of you and Mike? Like from that workshop or anything?
I do, but there are a bunch of other people in it.
Okay. Well, that could still potentially work. But so for me, the funnel would be, say, like Facebook page, straight here, a Facebook ad, straight here.
Okay.
Cool. McAllowitz fan, excited about his new next book, Fix This Next. Here's what it does. My name's Ashlee, and I am... Title, like what is the official title? What do you call it? Like how are you certified now from him to do this?
Certified either Fix This Next Advisor or Fix This Next Fixer. He kind of let us choose.
Okay, I think I like advisor just because it's like super clear to me. Okay, and then so I'm Ashlee, and you know, I'm here. And so anybody who like your best avatar for this is going to be somebody who understands that this is Mike's system. And that when he releases a book for good reason, he also creates an advisory channel of it. and he partners with very capable people. He has a high measure of who can get qualified, right, and certified, and then so when I see this, to me, it makes perfect sense because, like I said, I'm about as like McCallowitz up as you can be in your business. I've invested now fully in two of his programs to help my company run better. And so for me, I immediately get, oh, cool. Like I almost don't even need to read the book. If Ashlee can like educate me on the principle, like I am going to read the book, but it's like, I'm probably going to want to implement this, or I'll decide immediately after reading the book, whether I want to have a team or bring my team through implementing this, right? Depending on what it is. And it's like, the value is you got in front of me first,
Right.
And so it's like, I've got my person picked. It was Jess for Profit First. It was Adrian for Clockwork. And now it's going to be Ashlee for Fix This Next, if that's the experience I have through the book. Right. So to me, like that's the lowest point of friction you can have. If you look at an avatar, huge McCallowitz fan, definitely like can't wait to get this book in their hands. They're excited for the change it's going to bring. And now they just want to, it's like, hey, Ashlee, now it's time to talk, and you've been establishing yourself and the value you can bring, as they anticipate that book. You were the first one to give them the first 2 chapters. And then after you nurture that relationship a little bit, and I'm not saying you have to even let the book come out all together before that happens, but I would stop it here. I would not start pitching the program at the same time. I'm just getting them excited about getting their hands on an early peek at this book. I would want to nurture them into that idea of working with you. And a way you could do that is with like a Dean Jackson style 9-word email. This has worked great for us, especially with books. It's like, hey, saw you just downloaded the first 2 chapters of Fix This Next. What business are you in? ? Ashlee, not another word on the page. And let them just, oh, cool, that Ashlee person's reaching out to me. Let them respond to you. This is the business I'm in. And then, you assign somebody or train somebody to reply now to those messages. You've probably seen these funnels and helped others set them up, right? Cool. Oh, that kind of business. Here's a little chit chat back and forth. So what is it you'd like to fix next in your business? Could be a really nice, natural question. Oh, well, it's this, is I'm struggling with this. Cool. And then you can at that point, it's like, oh, the book almost doesn't even matter. It's now you're in conversation with somebody they're just thrilled to be engaged with, who seems to know how to help them. And you let the conversation evolve from there. And that's when I would, when appropriate, you find through that, you identify your 5-star prospects and pitch the ones on the service that seem to make the most sense for it, and keep nurturing the others.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So everything sales related goes elsewhere. This is just the landing page for the opt-in. The call to action is getting people to opt in.
Right.
Okay.
And just to let Dean Jackson continue to be our beacon here, what Dean says is, if you've done your job of getting people excited about the thing you have for them, the landing page should be just a sign on the door that they're in the right place. Okay, does that make sense? So you don't need to do anything else with their attention or try to upsell them in that moment. So you've done a good job of that here, except the only thing I would do is I would remove all this other stuff.
Just make it a landing page instead of,
straight up landing page. I mean, if you look at 60-second sales hook, it's still the simplest thing. And believe me, it was so hard to let this page just be what it was, but I have not changed in 5 years, simply because it's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's a sign on the door that they're in the right place. This is the book you heard me talk about on a podcast or somewhere else. There's the cover. That makes sense. There's that guy, Kevin. Not even a picture of me with it, anything. It's just do nothing, think nothing more. Just give me your name and your email and let's have a conversation. And it goes from there. And I grew my entire business off of that simple proposition.
Right.
So that's where you want to start building your list. That simple prop. And doesn't that make life easier when you now don't have to close people on this page or wonder why they're not which part of this are they not ready for or interested in? You want, again, what I was saying to Jay, dialogue is the most valuable thing we can have as marketers, because now there's a value exchange going on, and they're going to tell you what they're ready for, what they're concerned with, and the things you'll learn through that process are going to surprise you, and they're going to instruct the marketing from there.
Awesome. Okay. So I don't even really have to worry about the rest of the website. It's just people come from traffic to this page, they opt in, and then the whole goal is completely offline to build that relationship with the 9-word email and all of that.
Yeah, for that part of it, but certainly you can use everything else here. You can still use this as your
Just
sales page.
else.
I just wouldn't just don't combine the two.
Okay.
So this is not a wasted effort by any means. You just need to, segment it out.
Stop a lot sooner. Okay.
Yeah. Just step them into the awareness and their desire. And again, the dialogue you're going to have through that process is going to be so valuable and instruct so much things you would have never guessed people needed or were concerned about that are going to, in a lot of ways, revolutionize how this whole offer plays out for you.
Right. Okay. This is exciting. And I like the idea of getting in front of people who already know Mike and like Mike, because there's that trust there where they're like, oh, what's Mike doing now? Because I was struggling with that with the opt-in, like people who like don't know Mike are not going to be interested in the first few chapters of the book that's coming out. Right.
Exactly. Who is this? Why do I care? And again, that's why the thing of like having this simple landing page is like, if you've done your job up until that moment of getting them excited about having it, then that's all it needs to be. That's all they have to think about on that page. All cheese and a whisker. Cool. I'll give my email. Let me get this thing. I can't wait to dive into it. Right. And then you have an engaged prospect who's actually going to read the thing they get. And again, if you just take, like any relationship we have, let it be natural and incremental. It's the whole analogy of not trying to get married on the first date.
Right.
You go to a cocktail party and it's like you meet somebody new, and next thing you do is you go, let's have coffee sometime. I'd love to talk to you more. It's great. And you're excited about that. But if they go, we should have coffee, and then you can join my book club. And then, what else we could do is, we should go on a cruise together. And you're like, oh my God, what?
Stop.
And then you're like, that person seemed cool for a minute. Now I'm freaked out.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So, I can't resist bringing Abby on real quick, because I know Abby knows Mike's stuff pretty well too. And she's just like brilliant. So, hey, Abby, what didn't I cover? My giant word.
No, your notes were almost the same as mine. Of like, I read it and I was like, oh, cool, free download. And then I kept scrolling and I was like, oh, $2,000,
now we're selling something.
$50. I don't understand what. And then the button the call to action was like, connect with us. And I was like, why would I want to do that? So thinking about like what the button copy is, if you like take the elements to the sales page instead of like connect with us, it's like schedule your free fix it assessment or free fix it something, something that's like, because I don't know you, I don't really want to connect with you, what I mean? So,
it's too soon in the relationship for this page to want to, because if I'm reaching out to cold traffic, they're not going to want to get on the phone with me.
No, because I'm gonna be like, oh, she's gonna sell me on her $2,000 thing,
right?
That's what. And the only other note, like Kevin basically covered all the stuff that I was gonna say, but the other thing was the subhead was like, pinpoint your biggest need, or pinpoint maybe change that from a need to like growth opportunity, something like biggest like something, because I'm like if you think about fitness, if the subhead in a fitness thing, like you see things that are like, what's the best workout for you, or what's the best diet for you, but like if somebody was like, pinpoint what's wrong with your body, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And that's what I felt like that subhead was like, pinpoint what you're doing wrong. I'm like, oh, I want you to tell me what I can make better. So thinking about how making it, because especially if I'm in your market, because I am in your market, is like I already know like all the needs that I have, and I don't really care what the worst part of my business is. I'm like, oh, what's the thing that I can fix that's going to make it better quickest, which I'm guessing is what the outcome of the book is, right? It's like, where's the biggest leverage point? that I can
Oh, I
work
like
on
the
right
leverage
now.
point. Yeah.
Something like that, playing around with, instead of like, let me tell you what's wrong with your business.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Because yeah, his subhead is make the vital change that will level up your business
Yeah.
instead of, yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's more of
perfect. I
that
was going to ask
positive
you
spin.
because it's covered up with the thing you want to remove anyway, right? The
Yeah.
connect with us.
All of that would
And
go away.
that could just maybe be the subhead, just like repeat it or word it differently. Something about the leverage point or whatever, right? And again, like just, he's put and his team have put all the thought into how to sell this book. Just let it sell itself. And again,
Right.
it's the dialogue you're having leading up to that. And again, what we want to do, when you agree, Abby, is like, now the goal here is for Ashlee to attach herself to Mike in this book for the people who find their way to it from her. And it's like, we just can't make sure we don't lose Ashlee in this process.
Yeah, exactly right. So, I'm going to download the book, because what's going to happen is like everything. I'm going to download the first 2 chapters and I'm like, this is great. Of course, I don't have time to do it, because that's the whole problem that your market has, right? And so I'm like, and then I get an email like the next day that's like, hey, like, do you want help with this? And I'm like, oh, yes, I
please.
do. And
Okay.
and by now I've been like, if you're doing conversational conversion, I know who you are, or I've read about you, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. This woman knows what she's doing. Her team knows what she's doing. And like, this is going to be exactly what I need. And then it makes sense to say, like, does it make sense for the membership? Does it make sense for the program? Like, you can have that conversation with them, or somebody on your team can have that conversation where I'm like, oh, perfect. Oh, where you're at, I know exactly what you need. You need our membership because here's what we do. Versus me, I'm like, do I want the free thing? Do I want the $2,000 thing? Do I want the $850 thing? Do I want to connect with her? I don't know what I want to do. So,
right. There's just too many things going on and not enough of a relationship or a background or experience yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you always want like one page, one goal, like one thing you want them to do. So download the book is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
One CTA per attention session. And the other thing actually I would say is it's important is don't just rely on the conversation for engagement. Also have nurture content, okay, to fortify that, because they may not remember answer who is Ashlee, so you also want to send out this 60-second sales hook maybe as the next email, like be after that, like, hey, again, I'm Ashlee. Like, Laura Belgrade's great at this, like remind people who the hell you are and why they'd even be hearing from you, and then show them the goods and give them value, have a conversation and help them in other ways. And then the cool thing is, anything in the book you could take chapter for chapter, like whatever the leverage points are in the book, you can talk about those in your own way. And so Ashleeify that content and make it personal to you. And so you're like becoming their personal McAllowitz, like concierge now. It's like you can be fans together of the principles, but you're the one certified to actually help them with this. And you're building your own trust in your own customer, because they can't have Mike, right? That's why he certifies people like you.
Right.
One thing I love to do with long form content, like lead magnet things too, like webinars or books or whatever, which goes along with this, especially with time. Like if time is the problem that you're trying to solve, is be like, hey, I know I sent you 2 chapters. That's a lot. You really want to check out page 13, like where we talk about XYZ principle. Here's how clients, that I've worked with have applied this or whatever. And then that also, like, they feel like you're giving value, because you're like, oh, saving time. I don't have to read all these chapters. I'll just go to page 13 and like read this principle. And then, you're doing double duty there.
I love that. Okay.
Good stuff.
That's
I know
so
you've been
good.
taking notes like crazy. We'll save the clip of this.
So many.
And I think that's a lot to start with from here.
Yes. So helpful.
Good. I'm glad. And we're all big Ashlee fans already here. So keep us in the loop. Let us know how this works for you. And again, like the way you can pay us back for all this great knowledge is tell us how it worked.
Okay.
we can only know from the trenches how well our brilliant ideas actually transfer into results.
Right.
So thanks for going out and being that warrior for us. And I'm excited to hear how it works out.
Thank you so much, Kevin and Abby. I so appreciate you both, and everyone who was in the thread too. I saw those notes. So
Great
thank
stuff.
you.